Dinosaurs are among the most fascinating creatures to have ever lived, and for over a century, their fossils have been studied to reveal their anatomy, behavior, and evolution. But now, paleontologists and geochemists have discovered that dinosaur fossils can also tell us something even bigger: what the Earth's atmosphere was like when these animals were alive. In particular, the enamel of dinosaur teeth is emerging as a powerful new archive of ancient climate conditions. This enamel doesn't just preserve the history of an individual animal, it can preserve a record of the very air the dinosaur was breathing. By unlocking that record, scientists are piecing together levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide, the intensity of global photosynthesis, and even short-lived events like volcanic eruptions that once shook the climate system. The Mesozoic Era, which lasted from about 252 to 66 million years ago, was one of the warmest and most biologically active periods in Earth's history. It was the age of the dinosaurs, but it was also a greenhouse world. We know from older studies that carbon dioxide levels were much higher than they are today, but estimates have always varied widely, depending on which proxies were used. For decades, paleoclimatologists have turned to soil carbonates, the stomatal density of fossil leaves, or the chemistry of marine sediments to estimate how much carbon dioxide was in the air. These proxies are useful, but each one comes with uncertainties and potential biases. Soil carbonates can be altered over millions of years. Stomatal data can be influenced by local environments, and marine proxies reflect ocean chemistry rather than atmospheric conditions directly. What scientists have long needed is a new, independent line of evidence that ties directly to the atmosphere itself. That is where dinosaur teeth come in. Tooth enamel is one of the most stable biological materials found in fossils. Once it forms, it becomes a dense, crystalline structure that resists alteration and survives deep burial. Importantly, enamel incorporates oxygen isotopes from an animal's body water during growth. That body water is influenced by the oxygen in the air the animal breathes, and the oxygen in the atmosphere carries a subtle but measurable fingerprint, a shift in the ratios of oxygen isotopes, known as the triple oxygen isotope anomaly. This anomaly depends on two key global factors: the concentration of carbon dioxide in the air and the total rate of photosynthesis occurring on Earth at that time. The process works like this. Atmospheric oxygen acquires a unique isotopic signal through photochemistry in the stratosphere, where interactions with ozone and carbon dioxide slightly shift the oxygen isotopes in a way that depends on the concentration of greenhouse gases. At the same time, photosynthesis and respiration on a global scale alter this signature by cycling oxygen back into the air. The more photosynthesis occurs, the more the anomaly shifts in the opposite direction. When dinosaurs inhaled oxygen, those isotopic ratios passed into their blood and body water, and from there into the enamel forming in their teeth. Locked into the enamel's phosphate groups, that signal can survive intact for tens of millions of years. A team led by Dr. Ding-Su Feng at the University of Göttingen put this idea to the test. They collected and analyzed fossilized teeth from dinosaurs across several continents, including Camarasaurus from the Morrison Formation in the United States, Catodocus from German quarries, and Tyrannosaurus rex from North America. By using state-of-the-art mass spectrometry, they measured the oxygen isotope ratios preserved in the enamel and reconstructed the anomaly of atmospheric oxygen at the time these dinosaurs were alive. From there, they used models of isotope cycling to estimate either the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere or the rate of global photosynthesis, depending on which variable was assumed. The results are both exciting and revealing. For the late Jurassic, around 150 million years ago, the data indicate that atmospheric carbon dioxide levels were about 1 in 200 parts per million, roughly 4 times higher than the pre-industrial level of 280 ppm. For the late Cretaceous, between 73 and 66 million years ago, The levels were about 750 ppm, or 3 times pre-industrial. These values are consistent with the best estimates from other proxies, which is important because it shows that enamel-based reconstructions are not just plausible, but reliable. By standing in agreement with established methods, enamel adds a powerful new line of evidence to the toolkit of paleoclimatology. But the study did not stop there. By reversing the calculation, the scientists could instead estimate the total rate of photosynthesis, what's known as global gross primary productivity, or GPP. If they accepted independent estimates of carbon dioxide from other proxies and solved for GPP, the results suggested that during the Jurassic, global photosynthesis was about 20% higher than today, and during the Cretaceous, it may have been more than double today's value. That means that plants, on land and in the oceans, were cycling carbon through the atmosphere at a rate far greater than we experience now. Such elevated productivity likely supported the lush ecosystems of the time, contributing to the extraordinary diversity of dinosaurs and other organisms. Perhaps the most intriguing detail came from a few unusual specimens. Individual teeth from Tyrannosaurus rex and Catodocus contained isotopic patterns that did not match the broader trends. These anomalies suggest sudden spikes in carbon dioxide, potentially linked to major volcanic events. One candidate is the Deccan Traps eruptions in India near the end of the Cretaceous, which released enormous amounts of carbon dioxide and may have contributed to the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. If confirmed with more sampling, enamel could become a tool not just for long-term climate reconstruction, but also for detecting abrupt atmospheric events on much shorter timescales. As powerful as this new proxy is, it is not without limitations. Tooth enamel can still be altered by diagenesis, though the researchers carefully screened their samples to minimize this risk. The calculations also require assumptions. If you want to solve for carbon dioxide, you must assume something about photosynthesis, and vice versa. This means that no single measurement gives the full picture. Instead, enamel works best when combined with other proxies, as part of a multi-pronged approach. That said, the agreement between enamel results and traditional methods is already a strong endorsement. The broader significance of this work is clear. For the first time, we can directly tie the record of atmospheric chemistry to the biology of land-dwelling animals. The teeth of dinosaurs, once tools for eating plants or tearing flesh, have become time capsules of the air they breathed. They allow us to reconstruct the balance of greenhouse gases and global productivity across deep time, with implications for understanding Earth's climate system on the longest scales. This new method also reminds us of the interconnectedness of life and the planet. Dinosaurs did not just live in a greenhouse world, their very bodies recorded it. Today, we worry about rising carbon dioxide, but by looking back at times when carbon dioxide was 3 or 4 times higher, we gain perspective on how the Earth system behaves under such conditions. It doesn't mean that today's rising carbon dioxide is harmless. The continents, oceans, and ecosystems of the Mesozoic were vastly different from today's. But it does highlight the importance of feedbacks between climate and biology, and the potential of life to amplify or regulate planetary conditions. In the words of Dr. Fung, dinosaurs could be the new climate scientists. Long ago, their teeth recorded the climate for a period of over 150 million years, and finally we are getting the message. It is a powerful thought. Fossil teeth, once overlooked as simple relics, are now recognized as keys to the Earth's atmospheric history. Each enamel sample is not only a record of a dinosaur's life, but also a snapshot of the climate that shaped entire ecosystems. As this research expands, we may find that the most reliable recorders of ancient climate were not in rocks or oceans at all, but hidden in the jaws of the greatest animals to ever walk the Earth.